Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen and channel. So today I'm going to show you how I do my curry goat. A couple people asked me to do curry goat, so I've already cleaned and washed my goat meat. So you can clean it, take out all the excess fat. You're going to wash it with salt and flour, right? You're going to use about a couple tablespoons or maybe a quarter cup of salt and about half cup of flour to wash it, depending on how much meat you have to season or to wash. So I've already washed it, I have drained it, and it's ready to season. Everybody has their own way to wash their meat and to use whatever they like. I don't use lime juice or lemon juice because it tends to get the meat a little stiff or a little on the hard side or chewy side when it cooks. So I use basic salt and regular flour, all-purpose flour, to wash it. When when you use flour to wash it, it tends to get a little slimy. So throw a little and let it be in the water and mix it up, so you'll know the feel of the meat. You don't want to get it over on the slimy side. So here I have salt that I'll be seasoning it up with. I have 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon black pepper. Again, it depends on how much meat you have. I have my green seasoning here, which will consist of the bandanya, the garlic, pimentos. The bandanya is the shadow Bennie. I have 3 full tablespoons. And when I'm cooking it, I may add an extra tablespoon. It all depends on how it is looking and tasting. My green seasoning has hot peppers and pimentos, so I do not want it to get too on the hot side. And you mix it up. You can put your gloves on in your hands and mix it up, or you can mix it with a spoon, or you can just mix it with your hands. And I like to well season my meat. And you can season up your meat a couple hours before and let it marinate, or you can do it the evening before, put it in the refrigerator, let it marinate in the fridge overnight, and you can use it to cook the next day with. Or if you're doing all your preparations and cooking on the same day, then you can do it about 2 hours before or 1 hour before and let it marinate. Keep it in the fridge, keep your meat cold, and that is it. Simple, simple, simple. So it's well seasoned, and I'll show you the next step. Hi guys, welcome back again. So I have here my meat, my goat meat that has been seasoned and marinated in my refrigerator overnight. So it's time to cook. Let me run through the ingredients with you guys. So I have here my onions, sliced onions. I have my smashed or crushed garlic. I have my pimento peppers that has been cut up, and I have a whole scotch bonnet pepper. I have 1 tomato that has been diced. I have celery, and I have fine thyme. I use a lot of fine thyme in my curry goat. And I have here some fresh bandanya that I'll wash and cut up very fine. This is what the bandanya or the shadow Bennie looks like. This is the root. This has to cut out. You can't plant back the root. And this is what my green seasoning mostly consists of, together with garlic, simple garlic, and pimento peppers and hot scotch bonnet peppers. That's my basic green seasoning for everything. I have here 2 different kinds of curry powder. This is the curry herb by the Chief brand products. This is what I use for regular curry. If you want it on the spicy side or the chataki side, this is what you have to use. It's also by Chief brand. It's hot and spicy. It can be used for duck and goat as well too. So let's get cooking and putting this curry goat together for you guys. In my heated pot that I have here that has been heating in the meanwhile, I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of oil, vegetable oil. Let that come. It won't take long because, as I said, it was heating. I'm going to add my sliced onions. In goes that. And our smashed or crushed garlic will go in because it's not fine, so it won't burn. And I'm going to give this a toss or a turn. Let this get nice and light on the golden brown side, and then we will add our rest of ingredients. In the meantime, you can mix up your curry powder. I'll tell you how much. So now that it has gotten to that light brown color, I will add my other ingredients. My peppers will go in. And we're going to half a scotch bonnet pepper, and my tomatoes will go in. Give this a mix. Now don't worry about the garlic being big. It is going to be melted out slowly, and that garlic flavor is going to fragrance that this dish or this pot of curry goat. In the meantime, I have here my curry powder. I have 2 tablespoons of that chief duck and goat curry, and I have some saffron or tumeric. I am just going to add my water here, a little bit of water just to dissolve it out. Normally I will put my curry straight in the pot and add the water there. I am just doing this for you guys. This is the traditional way of chunking your curry, and this mixture will go in here. This is how our ancestors did it. Our grandparents, great-grandparents, our, aunts, uncles, or aunties, uncles, our ajis, ajas. This is how they do the curry. We're going to let this dry down a little bit to get to a thickish paste, and then I will add my other ingredients. In the meantime, you're going to add your fine thyme, so that flavor from that fine thyme will get into that curry mixture as well too. When our goat goes in, I will add the celery and some chives. I have some chives in the freezer. Actually, I have some in my garden. So while this is doing this, I am going to go get some from the garden. So I have here my chives or green onions that I got from my garden. I forgot I even had that. I was going to use the ones from the freezer, but fresh is always better. If you don't have access to the fresh one, go ahead and use what you have. A lot of people buy and they cut up and they put it in the freezer. So now I will add the meat because the curry paste is good now. And this is where I will mix this. I just want to turn the pot because I need my handle on this side, so I can hold my pot handle on this side. Now if you don't want it on the spicy side, just use the regular curry powder. If you want it on the spicy, nice chataki side, use the one for the duck and goat. It gives it that nice chataki taste. When I mean chataki, I mean spicy side. Spicy, but not too spicy, but yet very flavorful. So I'm going to cover this now and let it cook. It will let out some water. I will add my celery as well. My goat was seasoned with that salt, so I'm not going to add any additional salt right now. Coming down to when it's almost finished, I will taste it and adjust to suit, add more if necessary. I don't usually cook with a lot of salt as well. Knock my pot here. I am going to cut up some of the bandanya very fine and the chives, and I will add it in. Let this cook here on medium. I will add my chives and my finely cut up bandanya or shadow Bennie. Just give this a mix. And we're going to cover it back. Let it let out its liquid, its juices. Let that first set of liquid cook down and almost dry down before adding in more liquid. So you see how that water it had let out, it's all dried up, and the meat, the goat meat has been fried up really nicely. All that curry is coated really nicely. So here is where I will add my hot water now from my kettle. Let it continue cooking. This kettle holds 4 cups. In goes all. Has a nice taste. So when it's almost finished, then I will taste it back for salt. I don't think I will need to add any extra, because as I said from the beginning, the goat meat has been seasoned with that salt as well too. So I'm going to cover this now, let it continue cooking until the goat meat is softened nicely and it has a nice consistency of sauce or gravy. Then I'll show you the end of it. So the goat meat is cooking, it is softening up nicely. The sauce, the gravy is a little too thin, so I'm going to let it continue to cook. And that gravy and that sauce is going to come to a nice consistency, and that meat is going to soften up really nicely. So I'm going to cover it back and let it continue to cook. Leave that little space, even though it has that little hole there, so it will cook nicely. And the goat is perfect now. It's softened up, it has a nice consistency, not too much of sauce, but just perfect. This is what you're looking for. Look at that. So I've turned off my stove And this is the perfect goat meat.